Well, welcome back everybody to Old Folks Using AI and our journey through Thailand and Cambodia. Well, leaving Koh Samui should have been simple, a quiet ferry ride, a smooth connection, maybe even a last iced coffee before boarding.
Well, good morning. We made it to the pier, just waiting for our ferry to come in. Then we have an hour ferry ride over to the mainland again. Then we'll be on the bus off to the jungle.
Of course, Thailand loves drama, so we arrived at the pier in bright, beautiful sunlight, and 5 minutes later, the sky turned black like someone just flipped a switch. And then it hit. Not gentle rain, not a sprinkle, but that sideways rain, the kind where you instantly just give up on staying dry.
Well, we're still waiting for the ferry. The weather's turned just a little ominous, but we have a good attitude.
Everyone was packed together under this minimal roof that absolutely did not keep anyone dry. So the ponchos were useless, umbrellas were more decorative than anything, and the ferry, well, of course, it was late. It was one of those moments where you either get annoyed or you laugh. And I'll tell you something, an important travel hack we've learned is to always start with the assumption that on travel days, something will go wrong, and to more or less accept it. Just roll with the punches. So we laughed, no sense complaining, stuff happens, and honestly, it was pretty hilarious. Inside the high-speed catamaran, it felt like stepping into another world. It was dry and cool and fast, and these ferries don't gently glide. I mean, they slice through the water like a sports car. We found a window seat. We watched the island slowly fade behind us. There's just something about leaving an island that feels final, like you're closing the beach chapter and stepping into whatever comes next. I will tell you what came next was a completely different version of Thailand. When we reached the mainland dock, our van to travel driver was waiting with a sign, a big smile, and ready to take us to the rainforest. We climbed in and tossed our wet bags onto the seat and started the 90-minute ride towards Khao Sok. This is where Thailand starts changing character. It's interesting. The farther we drove, the more the scenery shifted. Bright beach tones turned into like deep jungle greens. Open sky became tall cliffs and thick canopy. The villages thinned out. Mist started hanging low between the limestone peaks. At one point, we both looked out the window and said the same thing. This doesn't even feel like the same country anymore. It somehow felt older and wilder and untouched. By the time the van pulled into the Bliss Khao Sok Lodge, we knew we'd crossed into something special. Now, the Bliss isn't a resort, it's more of an experience. Everything is built into the jungle, not around it.
So the view from our balcony, this is the path in. As you can see, we're for real in the rainforest. But I think it's going to be a fun adventure if it stops raining at some point. There's a room.
There's wooden walkways that twist through thick vegetation. Cabins sit tucked on little slopes or on the riverbank, just almost swallowed by the green. The soundscape, there's frogs and insects and birds, monkeys, whatever else lives out there. It's peaceful and a little mysterious. Our cabin had that rustic treehouse vibe. Wood everywhere, a balcony pointed straight into the forest, and the kind of quiet you don't realize you've been missing until you hear it. So nighttime was probably my favorite. The jungle comes alive, a full orchestra tuning up. Some frogs sounded like they were inches from the front door. It was pretty cool. When the rain finally eased, we walked into the tiny village outside the park, and it's really that, just a single road with a handful of restaurants and shops. We found a small family-run place with maybe 6 or 8 tables, plastic chairs, and a handwritten menu. So these are always the best spots, and this one proved it as well. The food was simple and fresh, full of flavor, absolutely what we needed after a long travel day. No rush, no noise, just a warm meal in a quiet jungle village. And then came dessert. We weren't planning on it, but there were 2 separate stalls that called our names. First was coconut mango ice cream, creamy and bright, cold, perfect with the humidity still in the air. Then we saw coconut Nutella roti sizzling on a hot griddle, folded and drizzled just right. The smell alone probably added 5 pounds. The plan was we were going to take it back to the lodge, but there was just no zero chance that we were making it that far. We stood right there on the side of the road and just chowed, devoured them right up, and no regrets. The next morning, after an amazing, fresh made to order breakfast, we started our hike into Khao Sok National Park. 7 miles total, and this isn't a walk, this is a rainforest. So the trail starts out relatively easy, then slowly pulls you deeper in. There's huge bamboo groves arched over like tunnels. Tree roots over the path. There's moisture in the air. There's waterfalls that appear in like random spots, like treasures waiting to be found. Monkeys leap above you, watching you with that, oh, another tourist expression. It's hot, it's humid, you sweat in places you didn't know you had, but it's stunning. One of those hikes where every turn feels like a postcard. The deeper we went, the more we felt like we were stepping back in time. I mean, it's not polished, it's not predictable, and that's the beauty of it. When we finished that long hike, we were pretty beat. We were sweaty, tired, and ready to collapse. But right by the Bliss is a river that looks like it was put there specifically for post-hike salvation. It was a little cloudy from all the rain, but not too bad. Cold, but not shockingly cold. It was shaded by trees with a little beach area to step in. And we didn't hesitate. Shoes off, shirts off, straight into the water we went. It felt incredible. The perfect way to wash away 7 miles of rainforest. And then the moment we'll never forget. Ninya felt a bite and a pinch, and she yelled. It turns out she was bitten twice by a pufferfish. It didn't draw blood, but it hurt like hell and raised a welt on her foot and another on her hand. It turned out the river is known for pufferfish, and nibbling on tourists isn't all that uncommon. So who knew? A pufferfish in a freshwater river, I mean, you can't make this stuff up. So Ninya recovered. I guess the fish swam away back to minding its own business. But we now own one of the most bizarre travel stories ever. After the pufferfish incident, there was really only one logical next step. We needed a strong drink immediately. So I walked down the road to the little convenience store in the village, and they had some of the big imported brands, you know, Jack Daniels and Johnny Walker and so forth, but at the prices that made me think we were back in the good old USA. Then I noticed a few bottles of local Thai liquor, and no English labels, no explanation, just mysterious bottles staring back at me. One caught my eye. It had this golden label, brown liquid, entirely in Thai, other than 2 words, Hong Thong. Could have been whiskey, it could have been cough syrup, could have been jet fuel for all I knew. So naturally, I took a picture, uploaded it to ChatGPT. Within a couple seconds, it broke it down perfectly. The description: Hong Fong, a popular Thai spirit, slightly sweet, similar to a light rum whiskey blend. Locals drink it with Coke. Well, that was all I needed to hear. I went right and grabbed a bottle of Coke and walked back to the lodge like a man on a mission. That night, sitting on our balcony with the jungle humming all around us, sipping Hong Thong and Coke, it felt like the perfect ending to a day that had everything. So our first 2 days in Khao Sok looked like this: a chaotic rain-soaked goodbye to Koh Samui, a speedboat ferry slicing across the Gulf, a van ride straight into prehistoric jungle, a cabin that felt like a treehouse, dinner in a tiny village restaurant, dessert we couldn't wait to inhale, a 7-mile trek through one of the world's oldest rainforests, a surprise pufferfish cameo, a liquor store adventure, and a nightcap powered by AI. Part 2 is next. Chao Lan Lake, one of the most breathtaking places in all of Thailand. Thanks for tuning in to Old Folks Using AI. If you're enjoying, please hit like and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you next week for part 2 of Khao Sok National Park and lots of monkeys.